Hello, this is Doreen Milet again with Schuylkill Intermediate Unit 29, and I am here to present Module 8, Brain Steps. Part 1 is what is brain steps? Schools typically have two protocols in place, return to learn and return to play. The return to learn is what Brain Steps is dealing with. Brain Steps stands for Brain Strategies for Teaching Educators, Parents, and Students. So what our mission is with Brain Steps is to help a student that experiences any type of a traumatic brain injury, including concussions, to be able to successfully return to learn as quickly as possible with necessary accommodations. The return to play is handled with your athletic director and your coaches and has different guidelines to follow. And both of these protocols have had an impact related to COVID. The Brain Steps program is funded by the PA Department of Health, the PA Department of Education, Bureau of Special Education via patent. It is implemented by the Brain Injury Association of Pennsylvania, and it has been implemented since 2007. Pennsylvania is only one of two states in the entire country that follows Brain Steps protocol. Colorado is the other state at this time. Brain Steps has a variety of Pennsylvania hospital and rehabilitation team members. So they are listed on this slide. What that means is that those facilities and are aware of brain steps. And if you take an injured child or one of your students ends up getting seen at one of these places in Pennsylvania, they are likely to get a referral to brain steps, or at least information shared and encouraged to do a referral. We have been trying as a Brain Steps team to do outreach to our local primary care providers in the county. So if you have any ability to help us with that mission of educating those facilities about brain steps, please let me know in the submission at the end of this module. Pennsylvania follows a layered structure, and we follow it statewide. Every intermediate unit has a Brain Steps team. I am the current team leader for the IU 29 Brain Step team. And then we have our members on the team that are from our districts, are also employed by the IU, and they come from a variety of specialties. We have early intervention represented, we have mental health, we have occupational therapy, physical therapy. We have a parent that also sits on our team and serves as another parent resource for other parents. We have a school psychologist on our team. So we have a nice variety, and I come from the education perspective. So what we're looking at here for the structure is we're first looking at, okay, predominantly we're looking at concussions so far in our area, although any brain injury could be part of brain steps. But if a student experiences a concussion, what you're looking for in the blue arrow is you're looking for monitoring that's being done on the school level, and you will see the initials CMT. The CMT stands for the Concussion Management Team. And typically at the school level, the concussion management team has one person designated to monitor the students' academics. That typically is either a classroom teacher, an administrator, or most frequently the school counselor. The Another person that's required on that CMT is someone to monitor the symptoms. So the health and physical symptoms that the student may be experiencing as a result of the concussion. And that person is typically the school nurse. So the CMT has two required members. They must have someone designated to monitor the academics of the student, someone designated to monitor the symptoms of the student. So you have an academic monitor and a symptom monitor. There are forms that are recommended for them to use, although they can choose to use district-specific forms. And so the student experiences a concussion. So for the first couple weeks, you're looking at that concussion management team to be monitoring what is happening with that student. If that student's been successful at returning, or if the student has had some trouble, and in what areas is there trouble. The brain steps is the yellow arrow. So after the school has been monitoring the symptoms, the brain steps referral and support can begin at 4 weeks, or it now can be done immediately if the student is attending all virtual instruction. So what this means is that the concussion happened, the academic and symptom monitor have been watching the student when they return to school, and they're still having symptoms after 4 weeks, or they're virtual student and they're having symptoms. So what they're doing is they make a referral, and that provides IU level support. So it's a third level, it's a third tier of support for the student as they're trying to return to learn. So you have the first layer and the second layer. Now, before COVID, if the student continued to have a concussion symptoms 4 weeks after their injury, a referral could be made to BrainSteps. But currently, we can take concussion referrals earlier than 4 weeks if the school is online. And that is so that we can help them immediately with the virtual instruction and maybe some assistance and some accommodations and supports. In our county, we have officially trained and recognized CMTs, concussion management teams, at those following buildings. So Blue Mountain has teams in every building. Monoy is covered, Minersville is covered, North Schuylkill is covered, Pine Grove is covered, St. Clair is covered, Schuylkill Haven Area School District covers K to 12. The team covers the whole district. The technology centers, both campuses, Tamaqua Area High School, and Tri-Valley Elementary and Junior Senior High School. And I believe Williams Valley also has a recognized team. I inadvertently missed them on my slide. So those are teams. So when a referral is made for any student in these buildings, it just makes the support just go very quickly. I know exactly who to contact. I know who the academic and the symptom monitors are. I know that they're already been doing things at the district level and at the school level, and I'm just providing extra support. For schools that aren't listed here, we've been working hard to try to help them and encourage them to develop a CMT. And we still provide support to any student of a district that's not listed here. It just makes the communication a little bit lengthier because I'm not quite sure who to contact. And I might have to do some education about what BrainSteps is. Whereas anyone on these districts and Williams Valley, they already know what BrainSteps is, and they know about monitoring symptoms. The Return to Learn concussion management team has the two required members that I said, an academic and a symptom monitor, but you can also have other members on the team. So again, the school nurse is typically the symptom monitor. There could be a school psychologist that sits on the team. The school counselor is typically the academic monitor. If the school has a social worker or a special education director or any supervisor administrator could also be on the team. An athletic trainer and or coach are not usually recommended, but they should be part of the communications. The athletic director and or coach would be concerned with the return to play, whereas Brain Steps is concerned with returning to learn. So at the IU level, these are the services that Brain Steps provides. We are a consultation service. We don't typically do direct service with students, but we can do some student observations or evaluations if that would help. We do a lot of communicating behind the scenes. We communicate with the family, with the school, with the student. We communicate with medical professionals. We look at a lot of records. We ask for how the student is doing, when are the symptoms happening, under what conditions. We can provide training to the teachers and to any paraprofessionals that need it if you're working with a student with a concussion or a brain injury. We share information about the students in our team. We can demonstrate some interventions, and we can also participate if the student has an IEP or a 504. So those are all of the things that we are able and willing to do as part of our Brain Steps consultation. Something that's key to remember is that frequently, when a referral is made, what we will do is we will monitor the Brain Steps team. They will assign a team member to be the main point of contact, and that main point of contact will monitor the student annually. So at least once a year, more if the symptoms are requiring more consultation, but at least once a year until the student graduates. And the only reason we wouldn't continue that is if the parent explicitly tells us that they no longer want to be communicated with. Many times the students are referred and their symptoms resolve, so they don't need service anymore. They don't need consultation. They don't need any changes to their academic environment. So they're kind of just doing well. But then the next sport starts and they have another concussion. So sometimes that second or third or fourth concussion causes some of the symptoms or new symptoms to begin, or some of the symptoms to return. The other time it's really good that we contact and we touch base is if a student is moving from an elementary level to a middle school level and then to a high school level, because the teachers in the elementary probably know the student's situation, but then they go to the middle school and that's a whole new set of teachers. And they might not be told, or they might not be aware that back in second grade, this young student had a concussion and it impacted their ability to learn. So it's really good to know that once a student is referred, we do touch base until a parent tells us to step out. We do continue to touch base until they successfully graduate. To be a member of the IU Brain Steps team and a school-based CMT, all members must complete a Brain Steps approved training course and participate in ongoing professional development. So that's another reason why one of our team goals is to try to make sure every district has a CMT, because that means that the members of that CMT have received the most current and the most research-based training that's out there. And it's been the same training. It's not what you think and what I think and what they think, but it's what research is telling us about brain injury. And there have been a lot of developments about research and what's going on with our brain after a brain injury. That concludes part 1 of the Brain Steps overview. So please look at your anticipatory guide and answer the questions related to part 1.